again, everyone. Freezing a particle system in Blender. So we get this sort of effect. So they shoot out, they stop or slow down very, very slowly, and then off again. So it gives time for the camera to animate around the particle system. So I think it's called the bullet time effect, or also the matrix effect. So let's get into Blender, and we'll start with some geometry to shoot out the particles. Then we shall create a group, and this is going to be the objects that it's going to shoot out. So we'll group these in a minute and you'll see what I mean. Just shrink this down a bit, the S key, and sorry about that, and what else do we need? We need a cone, and we'll shrink that down to just doing everything by eye at the moment. Okay, so give these a color, give that a nice blue color. The cube will give a nice red color, and I like to darken down the red a wee bit. Sort of television safe, I suppose you could call it. And then a green color. So, like so, and then select all three, holding Shift key down and clicking, and then Control G. And you can see the green outlines mean they're all grouped. Okay, now to set up the particle system. Select the emitter, select particle system, plus. Now we want to, for this particular one, we don't want the particles to be emitted for the length of the animation. We want the actual particle emission to finish, and so the particles that are out there in the air will freeze and then carry on. So it's much cleaner look. So I'm going to make mine 40. The lifetime, I'm going to make the length of the timeline, which is 250. And then if we go down to, let's see, I have to look at my notes. If we go down, right down to render, instead of halo, we'll click on group and select group, and you can see, let's see if we're getting close, you can see that they are now they are now in the emitter. Okay, the other thing that we need to do is go to field weights and get rid of gravity, because we don't want them falling down, we just want them shooting straight out. Okay, so the secret to slowing down, and we don't want to render the emitter, sorry, so in the render panel, uncheck emitter. So the secret to, if I close all these, the secret is in the physics panel to freezing or slow-mo is in the time step. So at the moment it is 0.04 by default. So if I take it to say frame 40, let's go to frame 40 and then hold the cursor over time step, hit the I to keyframe it, and then we'll go to frame 60 and we'll change that to 0.002, and we'll hit the I key again, and then we'll take it right up to 140 like so, and keep it at 0.002, so we've got that length of time from 60 frames to 140 to be the slow-mo, and then from 140 to 160 we're going to speed it back up, but instead of 0.04 I'm going to make it 0.1 because it tends to be slow on its acceleration out, in my experience, acceleration out of the slow motion. So next thing that we want to do is add a bit of rotation for, we'll give it a rotation of, at 140, a rotation of let's see, an angular velocity of 7, and keyframe that. Then we'll go to 160, and we'll make that 2 rotation, because I've found if it remains the same all the way through, after it comes out of slow motion it speeds up to supersonic speed and just doesn't look right. And it looks like I haven't keyframed my 0.1 out, so just double check. Yep, 0.2, 0.1. Okay, so if I take my group out of the scene, really you should put them on a new layer to keep it nice and clean, but I'm being a bit lazy. Okay, so we'll go back to the start and hit the play button, and they shoot out. Actually, I'll tell you what, I'll give them a velocity of, we want to really punch them out, so initial velocity of 7, I think. So if we play that, you can see them fire out, and then they go really slowly. And so you can animate your camera around that, and then they carry on like so. Okay, so next thing to do, so that they're not hit the N key to bring up this panel here, transform, and you'll want to change the scale of the emitter 0.01, sorry, on all axis, and they shoot out. Actually, I think that's too extreme, so instead of 7 I'll just make it 5, I think, and then they shoot out and then freeze, and then you basically rotate your camera. So if I had it say at 120, location, rotation and scale, then to 140, and then I rotated it around, and then I rotated it around like so, and then location, rotation and scale, so you can take it to another place, and by the time you're back round again, bang, it speeds up again. And that's how to freeze particles in Blender. So have fun.